you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome to it on a Monday, Championship Monday. Matter of fact, Bulldogs and Horned Frogs. That sounds like a championship game. Bulldogs and Horned Frogs. All set up for you. 402-464-5685. Starter Hammond text line, Honda Lincoln hotline if you want to reach out and say what's up. Join the conversation. We'll take your input and your feedback as well. Starter Heyman live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter live if you want to follow in studio. To do so, Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman, let him know about the Mercado.
Certified Piedmontese and special ingredients and butcher shop located at 84th and Havelock. Every type of meat, every type of cut.
We're there next Thursday.
Yep.
No, we're there next Friday. No, it's 27th. It's the last Friday of the month. So Super Bowl Friday. But before then, I think I'm just going to have the tomahawks delivered.
Jay got lucky. I just can't believe.
Yeah. Did you see that? Look, I tried to tell him all year long, and I've got the receipts for it, of having conversations with Jake Sorensen. I said, you're going to win your last game against the Jets, and it's going to matter, and you're going to get in the playoffs. Now, if I were you, I wouldn't want to get in the playoffs because you're going to get humbled.
But Jake doesn't think like that.
Like you, right? Like I know there's some financial value to them getting the wild card game and having to go to Buffalo, and they were fortunate enough to put that game as the early game on Saturday before the weather gets terrible and make them play at night on a Saturday or Sunday or Monday night and go up there and get frozen to the bone and beat down. But they're going to get beat up, right?
That's what they do. That's what they deserve. That's what Jake deserves.
He screamed like a schoolgirl.
Oh, my gosh.
That video is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Like, he couldn't believe it that they beat the Jets 9-6. 9-6.
Oh, did they give him the safety at the end of the game?
Yeah, they did it.
They gave him the safety as they tried to run it back, which is, Las Vegas was losing its mind. Right. Imagine being in a book. You're there at sports book, and it's the 3-point game, and that's kind of the space that you were in. And then they give up 2 points with 0.4 seconds.
You couldn't get tackled. You couldn't just get tackled. You got to give up 2 points.
So we'll go through the full Sunday. We'll go through. I know Jay's going to be out of here at 5:15. Nori's going to come in. He's doing his show from 6 to 8, but he's also going to come in the last half hour, hang out for a little bit. We can talk to him about it. But it's a short day. So you tell me, do you want to start with Georgia TCU or do you want to start with yesterday in the NFL?
We'll go yesterday just because it's most recent. It's
biggest story.
Biggest story was Detroit. And I picked them.
The play calls.
I picked Detroit. I picked Detroit. Everybody picked Aaron. I picked Detroit because my boy Aaron Glenn, he said we'll be ready. He texted me and I said, what can I expect? He's like, we'll be ready. And once Aaron tells me that means he felt good about the game plan. But the biggest thing about that game was Aaron Rodgers and his pattern of choking in the playoffs. Even though he's a Super Bowl champion and he's a great quarterback, I don't think he's one of the best of all time. I think he could be if he goes somewhere else. I think his time has ran up in Green Bay. I think it is great. Green Bay to me is one of the greatest franchises out there. It's a hallmark franchise. Mm-hmm. It was from the very beginning of the Super Bowl. I mean, even prior, but the first Super Bowl until now, they're a first class organization. They did it their own way. The uniqueness of everybody can have a share in it. Obviously, you're not a decision maker, but that's just the way it is. It's a very unique place. I just think
Lambeau's a legacy,
right? I just think with him, and I'll say this: the only thing I disagree with Green Bay on is they've never even given Aaron Rodgers multiple high round draft choices to work with. Now, he's been blessed to have Devontae Adams and Donald Driver and Jordy Nelson and all those guys, so he can't complain much. But when he really needed it, they didn't really help him. I think his whole act of, I don't know what I'm going to do. Dude, you got $50 million guaranteed. If you haven't thought now what you're talking about, considering that you were at 4-8 at one point in time in the season, then you're just trying to snowball everybody.
Is he trying to get out of Green Bay, or is he?
I think he seems like that. First of all, he likes to manipulate the media. He likes the attention. Drop this little nugget. I'm going to go off the beaten path. I'll be on the Pat McAfee show. I'll kind of drop nuggets here and there for about this. It's going to be 6 weeks, and then the Aaron Rodgers stuff will ramp up. Then they'll try to get a hold of him. He'll give one interview and then be gone for a while, and then poof, he'll either decide to be in Green Bay or not,
or on another ayahuasca trip.
Yeah, well, I hope. I mean, maybe that's as messed up his mind when you want to have diarrhea for 6 weeks.
But is that the vibe? Like, the vibe to me was walking off the field. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And it was on purpose. And then he played it like he actually smacked at a cameraman and said, leave me be.
He was with Cobb. I think that was more like he might figure that he might be gone. I think Aaron Rodgers wants to be somewhere else. I thought it last year.
Say it.
I don't know where he wants to. I don't think he knows.
I think he wants to be in Vegas.
Well, yeah, I could see him with the Raiders, but here's what I thought. I think last year, here's what I think Aaron Rodgers thought. He thought they're going to franchise Devontae.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come back and I'm going to hold him hostage to get a boatload of money, and our offense is so good because then they would have cut some guys on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then they worked out a trade with Devontae, and then Aaron Rodgers is left pretty much holding the bag. He knows he can go get substantial amount of money from another place, which is probably the Raiders and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he wants to be gone. But I think Aaron Rodgers will try to manipulate the situation to the point that it will make like it was Green Bay's fault.
Well, yeah, right. That ownership thing that he had asked for, begged for all along is the thing he's conceding, and that he'll have to concede first, right? To say, okay, it's not my squad. Like, whatever happened wasn't my fault. I wasn't the reason why we had the record we did. I wasn't the reason we didn't make the playoffs, all those things. And he can go to a place where he will be king. And if he goes to Vegas, he will be king.
He'll be king. He will be actually, the good thing, it might be, a little invigorating in the sense that Josh McDaniel's system, it will be challenging for him from a mental standpoint because it's very complex. So it fits Aaron Rodgers. He can make every throw that Josh McDaniels wants. That's probably, the Raiders are thinking that's probably their missing ingredient.
It'll help them keep Jacobs.
Yeah, possibly could do that. You got Devontae down there, so I just think that that'd be a good landing spot. But sometimes things that look so natural to happen, there's hangups because if you bring in Rodgers, you got to move Carr. Derek Carr, as much as Aaron Rodgers holds the keys, he only holds the keys to Green Bay. Derek Carr holds the keys to a lot of places around the league because even if he would go to somewhere, say like the Jets or he could even, in worst cases, the Colts or somewhere.
Please no, but it's on the table.
They could get him to go there and still draft a quarterback and he mentor them, right, for a year or two. He has a no trade clause. He has to say okay. So that's where, things can get hairy. But I think that obviously, Derek Carr is ready to get up out of there. But that to me is the biggest story of the weekend. I was a little surprised the Jets were only able to score 6 points. But I'm not surprised.
So were they.
Joe Flacco's played in games before, and they have offensive weapons. I felt like if Joe Flacco wanted to, parlay this into another 4 or 5 years of holding a clipboard, this is a perfect opportunity. And
I think he will.
Well, I think he will, but this would up the price because Chase Daniels is about to move to TV. He could go anywhere. Wow. Heck, Chad Henne's still in the league, and
it was a great weekend for several reasons. The lead for me is that anytime in the history of the NFL that the two teams play, it is an event. It is an event, and the fact that the evil empire had every opportunity to just squash Washington's entire organization. They could have just ripped the guts out of it. They could have, at home, they could have just run out against a rookie quarterback with zero experience
and put up 40 points
and could have done their thing, right? They could have done whatever they wanted in that space. And instead, they did what Dallas does.
And doo-doo down their leg.
Right down the leg. And so
with some diarrhea.
You guys know what that means.
Hit
when
that
Washington does its thing, my music has to be played.
Hit it.
To the evil empire. You must go down. You must go down hard. There's lots to talk about. We're going to bring in, speaking of Vegas, we're going to bring in Everett Gray from the Running Rebels. He's out in Salt Lake City, but he's a Raiders fan. He is a part of the great legacy that is the Running Rebels. We'll talk to Everett Gray about all things sports, what he wants for his Raiders, because the Aaron Rodgers conversation is in play, and we'll talk a little hoops as well, all here on Old School. We'll be right back.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure.
Starter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. StarterHeyman.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to try Anarchy, which is an exciting new pre-workout for athletes and gym enthusiasts who want the most out of their workouts. Anarchy can only be found in Nutrition Authority. Remember, when you want results, the solution is simple. Nutrition Authority. Stop in, call, or check us out at mynutritionauthority.com.
A new year means new goals and upgrading, but that doesn't only apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2022 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Lake.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
My name is Rebecca. I struggled with depression for years. I also smoked. That was my world. Finally, I realized that smoking wasn't helping me. It was making my life worse. So I took control and I quit. Now I'm able to run again and take walks with my grandkids. My tip is there's another world out there, and it's a beautiful place to be.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. Hopcat is your pregame headquarters for basketball and volleyball all season long. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
Back to Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We like the girls with the pumps in our back. Pumps in our back. Pumps in our back. We like the girls with the pumps in our back. Pumps in our back. Pumps in our back. We like the girls with the pumps in our back. Pumps in our back.
I've probably listened to this song with both Jay Foreman and our next guest the most, because when I was in Utah, when I was in Utah, Evan and I we were together quite a bit, and then we did a Saturday show as well. And whenever my producer said I was in a bad mood, this is what he would put on. Like he would just pump this. So, Austin, if you would, Everett has his own intro. Can you hit it for us?
Here's a guy that gives them more depth at UNLV, Everett Gray. He brings 9 points off the bench for Coach Tarkanian in less than 20 minutes of play in a game. Here he'll have a chance. Oh, as he goes up for the dunk, Miller takes a piece of the arm. Two on Miller now. Team foul number 5. Here's another basketball player with a baseball background. He was a third-round pick of the Astros in '87 was Everett Gray.
Let's bring him in. Oh, that's him calling back on the next line. Just go no, just punch it in there. That's what it is. Let's bring him in. Let's bring in the running rebel himself, Everett Gray. Ev, what's happening, brother?
It's been a busy day. DP.
Yeah, tell the story, man. What's going on out there at school?
I can't really get into everything because the fans are involved. So, but I mean, I ain't gonna snitch. I ain't Takashi or Gunna.
Oh no, he did.
But yes, I did. I went there. I went there, Jay.
I hear you, man.
But,
I know who I'm robbing the bank with.
I ain't gonna YSL anyway. But yeah, we just had a lockdown at school today, and I'll tell you the off air, and Jay, I'll tell you off air what really happened because it was kind of serious. But everything was cool, and we figured it out.
Well, this is Utah, man. I'm trying to figure like you at a private school. You are not. This is not supposed to happen out there. We were just right stuff you see. We were just talking about this offseason. Of course, Aaron Rodgers and the way he finished last year and last night, and folks in the league, and of course the Raiders with Derek Carr. That was a marriage that didn't work. Now you're a Raiders fan. What do you want to happen with the Raiders at the quarterback position?
Well, I wish we can draft a young kid and build around a young kid, but it looks like we're going to have to pretty much go through the portal. I call it the portal, and grab a quarterback. Now, I don't know who's out there. I mean, it's a bunch of guys. After the season, there'll be some guys in the portal. I call it the portal, Jay Foreman.
Right, that's what it
is. We can hopefully grab, but there's going to be a domino effect of quarterbacks. That's going to be moving around a little bit, even 2 or 3 year guys. That's going to, some people are talking about Zach Wilson. And DP, Zach went to our school, and I coached the kid in club ball. And I think he needs a fresh start. Now, will it be with the Raiders? I don't know. I mean, Zach couldn't really – it was just hard that when he got drafted by the Jets, I was like, I don't think he can handle that market coming from Salt Lake and Provo. And DP, you know what I'm talking about. It's a little bit different going there. So, I mean, it's going to have to be where we might have to, I would say tank to get a good pick, but there's so many good quarterbacks coming out. And it's just next draft. I don't know. Maybe you can get one in the late first or early second. I haven't really looked at the Raiders picks, but we'll see. I mean, Derek Carr needs a fresh start too. I can honestly see Derek Carr in Miami. I like Tua, but he's never healthy, and it's going to continue to get worse. And Jay, when he got hit, I'm not a football player anymore, Jay, but when he got hit in that one game and they left him in the game, I felt sorry for him.
Yeah, me too.
And I worry about some long-term effect because, Jay, that was scary.
Yeah, he needs to. I think for Miami, as much as he might be, I guess, technically maybe be ready to play, that he needs to sit out the rest of the season. I mean, he's had 3 serious concussions, and they all seem to be getting worse. And they're bad ones because they affect him in different ways, right? So the first one, when you think about it, I think it was the Buffalo game. his equilibrium was off, where he's talking about his back. And remember, he couldn't stand up; he was stumbling, right? So that's kind of like like when you see a boxer and he has the the Zabzuda legs when he got hit that one time. You got the jelly legs, and then the other time when he got slammed, and which is more like a whiplash one. And oddly enough, was it when they played the Bengals, he was instantly out. So that's you think of like a KO punch, Mike Tyson or whoever, you just out like on contact. And then the other one that he just had against Green Bay, which was probably the least, I would say, just by looking at it, alarming one, affected how he could think, because his play in the first half was perfect. And then in the second half, he looked like a totally different person. And then when he did that post-game interview, he had acted like he had just took, 5 shots of Hennessy, or something like that. So I think they need to, try to protect him. And he needs to protect himself. His family and them need to get with him. I wanted to ask you this about the Raiders. And, my mom lives in Henderson, so she's a Raiders fan. Okay. And all the text messages about the quarterback, and that's the easy target. But no, I know I've talked to David Carr some, just once, and texted him a few times, and he went into depth of the Raiders organization. This is even before they got to Las Vegas. Right. And of course, everybody wanted to look at the quarterback. And granted, I think there at times, Derek Carr didn't, play well. But with the team that they have, right, when you're thinking of Adams, possibly Jacobs coming back, an upcoming offensive line, Waller at tight end, Renfro, then the defense with Crosby and Perriman in the middle, and those guys. Don't you think they need to go try to get a splash acquisition? Whether it's, hey, don't sleep on it, Tom Brady for 1 or 2 years. Only say, Tom, well, I want you for 2 years, but don't listen here. We're drafting a quarterback, and he will be your replacement at 48 years old. Or making a trade for Aaron Rodgers, which probably more logistically is a little bit harder. But could you imagine Tom Brady actually coming in there and cleaning up that organization just by his presence, and then handing it over to said quarterback that's got drafted to really take over and go from there? Considering Tom Brady knows Josh McDaniels' offense, right? He still has some life in him. And there is no, when Jimmy Garoppolo was drafted, you could envision Tom Brady playing until he was 45 because he had told you. So that was 10 years ago. Right. So, I think of those two choices, who would you rather have?
I wish I could have both of them, right? and then move Tom up to the front office, and then that's how you kind of clean up some stuff too. Derek Carr got a bad deal. I didn't even think Gruden wanted Derek Carr, even when he first got there. He was battling that in the beginning. I can see that. I mean, me personally, I would love to have Aaron Rodgers because he's still got some life in the. But me personally, Jay, I think Aaron Rodgers is not a good teammate to me. He seems a little arrogant to me, and he kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like it's never his fault, and that's a problem with me. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm reading into it a little bit too much, but Tom Brady, I would love to have Tom Brady. You got to have that line on point with Tom Brady because he ain't moving. He moves like Derek right now.
Right.
So, but if he has a clean pocket, Jay, he can make you. He can win some games for you, just like he's done with Tampa Bay. But the other thing too, I think losing Ruggs too, when that was a sad situation, hurt them too. If he was that guy like the cheetah, somewhat.
Take the top off.
He can catch it and take it to the house on any play. But me personally, I would probably go with Tom first and then a close second, Aaron, if it can make it work. But it's going to be a crazy offseason, and especially with quarterbacks, because they got some good quarterbacks coming into the draft too. So there are going to be some veterans out there. But me personally, I like Aaron first and then Tom second.
We talked about football as a thing because I know how much you enjoy it, and again, yesterday was worthy. But watching college basketball this year, and then here specifically watching the Huskers, who under Fred Hoiberg have changed their identity, and changed their focus and said, Fred said, I'm going to go and get long defenders who are going to be purposefully active. We're going to attack the defensive boards. We're going to limit second opportunities. You as a hooper extraordinaire, what happens? What type of player do you have to get who will come into buying to playing Power 5 basketball, defense, and rebounding first? Where do you find those kids? Because they're not out there that much.
No, they're hard, and then in that case, you got to pay a little bit. I mean, I know that sounds crazy. With NIL stuff, you gotta boost up your NIL stuff. You're gonna take some money from the football team. But the thing is that most wings, I mean, most good wings they're all over the country. I mean, mainly, you got three biggest states. I mean, you got California, Texas. Florida got some good wings. We call them wings and things. Chicago, you're going to have to get some athletes to compete, and you have to do it every year. The thing is that you got to recruit your guys every year. It's crazy because these kids can hop in the portal. But if you can get size 6'7", to 6'9", 6'10", because you got to stretch everything. No one really posts up anymore until they have to. So you got stretch 5s and stretch 4s along with 3s that can defend 4 different positions. So, but mainly you got to get them out there. The way you get them out is going through the portal and coming up with the most money. That's where we're at this point. And it's not sad. I want these kids to make this money. Nebraska can afford it, Jay. I mean, it's
I
one
ain't writing the checks, player.
One section can take care of everything.
Yeah,
at a football game.
I'm a firm believer. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna have somebody show up, and I'm gonna get whoever I can get. I wouldn't be losing too many recruits. But I wanted to ask you this, man. I've been thinking a lot about this. I've been watching college basketball, watch a lot of high school basketball, and obviously watch a lot of NBA. And one thing that I've kind of just dawned on me, and you probably already know this, is it seems like, especially at the high school level and college level, they're behind the times. And here's why I think the lack, and this is football as well. So, but basketball we're going to talk about is the lack of knowing the where the end all be alls, which is where the NBA is going. You know what I'm saying? And then to develop guys, from high school, develop high school kids to get to college at any level, college to if they have professional aspirations. Why is it that there isn't that? It's so, I think it's prehistoric in their mindsets, because when I was watching college basketball, I saw some of the same sets that I was running in high school. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I remember watching, the Kansases and stuff like that. I'm like, dang, that's the same stuff that I was watching when Roy Williams was the coach, and they was going 30-0 and then losing the Sweet 16 or something. So I think I have my answer, but I want to get your answer, especially coming from you develop players and you get them to the next level. So your mindset is a lot different. So that's why I want to ask you.
Well, I adjust to the times, but the good thing, Jay, I played for Jerry Tarkanian, obviously, and he was ahead of his time. And so I saw this coming a long time ago. And then when I finished at UNLV, I went right overseas, and I saw all these bigs that was really athletic and really skilled, I should say. And I saw that, and I was like, when I got into coaching, I just added a little bit to the game. I watch a lot of basketball. The crazy part, I watch a lot of women's basketball, WNBA, and then the top 10. I watch South Carolina. I watch Connecticut.
Right.
I watch Louisville. I watch them because women are smarter than men. They run I'm not going to swear, but they run their stuff.
Right. Oh, yeah, they do. To a T, too.
And they spread they run their stuff, and it's spread. And they run, and Gino runs a lot of good sets. I use a lot of sets from Gino, but I saw this I saw this coming a long time ago. Some of these old school high school coaches are college. They're just set in their ways, and they're not going to change how they run stuff. And those teams, you're going to see this year, DP in the Final Four, you might have 3 mid-majors.
I was just about to say that.
Some of these mid-majors are good because of the portal and then the way they play, and then +2, they're older. And some of these guys, these one-and-done kids are just, they don't even go to school in the second semester. So they've already got their foot halfway out the door.
Right.
It's going to come to a point, Jay, where they're going to be like some football players, in the bowl. Like they're going to skip the tournament
Right.
to get ready for the draft. But some of these college coaches are sticking to their old plays and this and that, and you got to adjust a little bit. And that's why I like Coach K, because he adjusted a little bit to the times. And if you see how they're doing right now, it's not good, because I think they're almost out of the top 25.
Ev, it's always fun. We will do it again next week. I know you're busy in season, but we'll make the schedule work. It's always good radio. We'll get you and Jay together. That's Everett Gray, UNLV. Always good. Love you, brother.
All right, love you too. Talk to you guys.
All right, man.
Everett Gray, running Rebs. We'll toward the break. Close out the first hour of Old School.
Shopping for insurance can be a tedious and frustrating task, but the agents at Brokers Insurance Agency will do the work for you. They have partnered with over 20 of the best insurance carriers in the nation, which allows them to do the shopping all for you. Whether you're looking for business insurance or employee benefits for your company, or you're looking to save money on your home and auto insurance, Brokers Insurance Agency has the agents and solutions to help meet your goals. Call 402-420-5353 or email staff@brokersinsurancenE.com.
Pillar Restaurant Group is proud to announce the full opening of our brick-and-mortar venue-at-home store, Lincoln's new premier specialty grocers. This store is home to our brand new Butchery by Venue. Get the finest Nebraska steaks, hand-cut in-house by our butcher, prepared for our restaurants, and available for you to take home. With hand-selected specialty seafood, charcuterie, wine, bourbon, and liquor options. Come in today to see what we have to offer at 70th and Pioneers in the Pioneer Woods Shopping Center. Open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Every child has the ability to be successful and thrive in life, but sometimes they need your help. Big Brothers Big Sisters of Lincoln exist to help children unlock their potential by making meaningful matches between adult volunteers and young people. Right now, there are children just waiting for a mentor to step up and make an impact in their lives. Learn more online at bbbslincoln.org. There are kids right here in Lincoln waiting to get started. Volunteer today and start something big.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Sauter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Back to Old School with DP and J.
Welcome back. We're going to have to give Austin the test. Austin, do you know who this band is?
Ooh. Not off the top of my head.
See, this is what we're here to teach. So
I'm here to learn.
This is George and Lewis, the Brothers Johnson.
Okay.
Brothers Johnson. Two of the great musicians. They were great studio musicians. They went out on their own and created probably 4 number 1 hits. This is Strawberry Letter 23. Stomp. They did a whole bunch of stuff and George is one of the great bass players to ever live. So
thanks for educating me.
I
learned something.
We're there to help. There's a lot, and we appreciate you guys on the text line. You guys have been active in this space. Wet Blanket says this. I agree with Everett 100%. I've coached both boys and girls. A coach has to convince boys to do what you ask. Girls will do exactly what they're coached to do. If your girls' team isn't playing the way you want them to play, it's 100% on you as the coach. Jay, you've been around it.
Yeah,
and I want to ask you this because I got to – so we had the staff holiday party Saturday night, and we were out at the Double Eagle, and next door to that is the basketball facility. And so I had never been out there. And so I walked into the basketball facilities packed.
Right, yeah.
Packed on a Saturday with what appeared to be select basketball.
Yeah, probably either select league player. It was definitely a tournament.
Yeah, where so all the courts were busy, all different ages and otherwise. On a scale of 1 to 5, where would you put Lincoln lower level basketball?
You mean like from 8th grade on down?
Yeah.
It varies. I mean, there's one really good team, Nebraska United. I think they're a national type of team. Been playing together, developed. And then it just varies. I think just overall Lincoln is a little bit behind in all sports as far as being really truly competitive. And that's just probably by choice, I think they have every opportunity to it, and I think it's just no different than Nebraska's football program. I think when you raise the expectations and how you go about it every day, and we talked about it with Everett, you can't be prehistoric, dude. I mean, you can't be, set in your ways. So I think, it for the most part, I think that they have, good basketball. I think the girls, the Lasers program is really, really good. I think they do a really good job of developing players. All of them go off to high school and play well, and a lot of kids, I think, end up going to playing at another level if they choose to do so. A lot of multiple sport athletes, especially on the female side. I think the boys basketball, especially here coming up here, the 26, 27 class, 25. I think you're going to see some good players come out of Lincoln in this type of area. A little bit west of Omaha. So. Right now Omaha has probably all the teams, the more depth, more competitive. But I think the ante's been upped at the lower age, but you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I wanted to be clear because I walked in and I didn't know, one, if you don't, you got an empty palette, right? I had a empty slate. So watching one, I was surprised by the number of kids who were playing, which is fantastic.
Yeah,
so
great.
Whoever's been marketing basketball in this space, bravo. But then I asked the question, well, what's the elite program and what program would be the most likely to compete with the Metro in basketball? Now, the girls have a better shot, but as far as the boys on a high school level, is there a Lincoln program that would be most likely to compete with the Metro?
High school level this year, I think, to be honest with you, is very competitive. I mean, you got Lincoln High who won the hack tournament. They're big, they're physical, they're tough. I mean, they are tough kids. Competitive as well. Haven't kind of never been given anything. Lincoln's always kind of had talent, but I think this year they got a lot of talent. They got some grit. They look older team, you know what I mean? So they, I remember seeing them in the summer, and I was like, they have a guy about 6'7". Assuming he's about 2'4", I was like, man, you should be playing offensive line because he can run, he can jump, and so they have some depth. Southwest is really talented, Lincoln East is always well coached and got a bunch of shooters. So if you come half stepping against them, then you're going to get beat. Pius is always competitive, and Southeast is extremely talented as well. So I think there's a lot of parity in the Lancaster County area. And I think, teams, there's no night off. So you might lose a couple, but then you might win a couple. And let me not forget, Northeast is good too. So every team in Lincoln, I think, is good. So, there's no night off. So I think it'll pay off for these teams wherever they get seated in the districts and stuff. And you might potentially see a couple teams make it to state.
It's good. last year was the first year. I think we covered 32 of 34 games or 36 games, and I think that's going to be the mission. So we're gonna hire Jay Foreman to do some play-by-play for us as well, come tournament time. And we want to shout out to Nick Sainer for all the work he's done
he's doing a really good job
in broadcasting high school sports here, especially in the Lincoln area. We'll toward the break. Jay's going to leave at 5:15, so we're going to get back, get a full segment in talking about Georgia versus TCU before he has to leave.
Are you looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent benefits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GarnerIndustries.com.
Hey guys, Nick Sadert here, and I want to tell you about my friends at Spine and Sports Chiropractic. I experienced a herniated disc in my lower back a few years ago, and thanks to the folks at Spine and Sports, I got back to feeling 100%. At Spine and Sports, they use the active release technique, which involves the soft tissue and can alleviate headaches, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, and more. What I like most about the ART method is that your doctor will construct a plan that fits your needs because the technique is not a cookie-cutter approach. Allow Spine and Sports Chiropractic to help you feel better. Set up your appointment today by giving them a call at 402-261-6841.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
James Enterprise Incorporated, that company that hauls your gravel, rocks, and material for your farm or construction site, says thank you to the people of the healthcare community for putting yourself in the way of danger to save the public. That is what it means to be a hero and to build a beautiful legacy. This message brought to you by James Enterprise Incorporated. For all your hauling of rock, gravel, and materials, call them at 402-432-6740. That's 402-432-6740.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Five o'clock, hour number 2 of Old School. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and you have been active on the text line. Thank you very much. Sutter Heyman text line 402-464-5685. If you want to be a part of the conversation, you want to add something, hit us with a what's up, and we'll have you into what we're talking about. And then if you want to follow us on the live video stream, Sutter Heyman's live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You can follow what's happening here in studio as well. Jay Foreman, let them know about the Mercado.
Certified Piedmontese and special ingredients located at 84th and Havelock. Every type of meat, every type of cut, seafood, their own spices, sauces, pasta, individual frozen meals, family meals. They got jerky in there, vegetables, and then obviously they have the strawberry sorbet.
Winner. It's a winner. It's a winner. 13 points. 13 points is the point spread tonight. The returning, as Paul Heyman likes to say, the reigning, defended.
13.5.
Yeah.
They didn't win up.
Reigning, defended, undisputed national champion in Georgia. Georgia Dogs, the Silver Britches, a 13.5-point favorite over TCU.
Right.
And there are ways, we were talking about, there are ways for this thing to work out well for TCU. There are ways that it won't.
Well, yeah, I mean, TCU has to play well, but so does Georgia. I mean, Georgia, sometimes I think, and you deal with this a lot around here where, you're about to play Michigan or something, and you can kind of like intimidate yourself before you step out there on the field. And I talked about it when they were playing, Georgia was playing Michigan. You don't want to come in at halftime and look at each other and be like, man, we can play with these dudes. So I think that the Michigan game really helped at TCU, but of course, Georgia's a step up, and that's just part of just being in this space of being a national champion. So with that being said, Georgia can't just go out there and go through the motions and beat TCU. They're going to have to go out there and play well. And to Georgia's credit and standard, they feel like they didn't play well against Ohio State. I don't believe that. I think Ohio State outplayed them. There's a replay that should have been replayed, and it would have just nullified Georgia winning the game. Ohio State had a chance to win the game, and he duck hooked that bad boy left. But, at the end of the day, Georgia's here to defend their title. So, it's going to come down to who really, relishes in the moment, really takes control of the game. I would envision that Georgia comes out quick. And
it's a home game for them.
It is, but it's going to be interesting to see if TCU responds. And the thing that people don't understand about playing these type of games, and, whether you're we never really played as the underdog in college, but a lot of times in the pros, when you're going to play, when you can stay steady through that first couple series. And I remember talking about the Michigan game with Nate when I didn't get to see it from the start, but when I watched it, before I watched it, TCU was up. And I always look at the time in the first quarter, or what time during the game. Because if it's after the first drive, I was like, oh, you just came out with the script. When I saw it was 6 minutes left in the first quarter, I knew both teams had probably had the ball twice. So that lets me know TCU was settled in and Michigan is settled in. It's the same thing that goes for this game. TCU can't come out and have any special teams mishaps. That means like a shank punt or a kick that's, kicked down and it goes out and they get the ball, past the 20 at the 35 or whatever. And then they got to stay steady. And then also playing with house money, if they somehow have a lead 3-0, if Georgia defers and TCU is able to go down and get some points or turn the field over to where they can pin Georgia down, that's almost equivalent as some points. Now they're going to have to score. They can't go and think that they can get into a phone booth match and think they're going to win a 17-10 game against Georgia. That's how Georgia lives like that.
What happens in huddles the first break in play? You bring the players over, and it's always, well, who's got a lamb? Who's got a bunny? Right. You're asking for somebody like, hey, did we miss on film that we have an advantage? Who's my win?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you're asking, especially in big games like this, is there anything new? I mean, a lot of communication, at least from my standpoint, was, the defensive line coach with whoever, with the defensive line, and D coordinator with the linebacker. And, you kind of trying to figure out, like, hey, look, was our, where we at game plan was? Because, if the players are giving you confident answers, clear, precise answers, it's giving the defensive coordinator, okay, we're prepared. So as much as, as the players are relaying information, the coach is getting information as well, and they're getting a feel of the game. And, and then you got to be very, as a coach, you got to make sure that you're not caught up in the moment where, say, you get a 10-point lead and, guys will come over and be like, oh, these guys are soft, this, and this. Look, you get a 10-point lead against Georgia, expect them to come back. Georgia, you get up by 10 on TCU, you expect them to make a run. That's the way it is. These are two championship type of teams, whether you like it or not. TCU, obviously, I think, has exceeded expectation tenfold, compared to preseason. But as I've watched TCU, They're a well-coached team. They're physical, and they're obviously were better than what people thought preseason-wise. Even though they got quite a few transfers and stuff like that, I think Coach Dykes has been able to do something to get a lot of guys that have transferred in, even the year prior, to buy into a new system. So they lean heavily on their big players, which is obviously Max Duggan and Quentin Johnston on offense, and Kendre Miller is a dude. Now, if he plays, that changes the dynamics of the game too. But his backup is good. So what they can do is they can keep Georgia off balance with the two-headed monster as far as running the ball, because they run the ball differently, right? Mm-hmm. And so that changes up the defensive calls as well. So the gamesmanship, the chess match, or whatever you want to call, is going to be very interesting. Look, expect Georgia to be very well coached. Most likely, Ohio State probably nullified Texas Christians any chance of any type of trick play, because they had it. Luckily they called a timeout. Ohio State had it, so they're going to be prepared for anything. So you just got to line up and beat these dudes. I think you got to try to win the special teams battle, and find some hidden yards there. Whether it's through the return game or just consistently. When I talk about getting a couple first downs, and people always think, well, you got to score. You got to score. It's like, okay, you can score 7 points and you don't score for three quarters. But if you can get 2 or 3 first downs and pin them down, that is extreme. I don't care what quarterback it is. There's not a quarterback that likes to take the ball with less than a first down to the goal line. So if you can get them down there 10 yards, you're starting at their 10-yard line. That shrinks the playbook. And now the pressure is on them to execute. The only pressure that a team like TCU could be under in that situation is if they are at, the 20-yard line or something, and it's a 3rd and 8, and somebody busts the coverage, or you miss an open field tackle, or you let them break 2 or 3 tackles, and then they get the first down. Then that starts the momentum on Georgia's side. So if you play steady and get these momentum plays that aren't the ones that are going to show up on TV, that's how you take control of the game, and it's systematically nullifying the physical advantage that Georgia has, because you're always playing offense, even though you're not technically scoring the ball, because eventually the dam will break. Eventually you'll make plays. TCU has athletes. See, I think sometimes Georgia was so good last year, and it's questionable whether they would have won the national championship last year if Williamson didn't get hurt. I've said that. They were running through Georgia like water through wet paper towel.
Yep.
Now they got there. Sometimes you can be so enamored with the defending national champion and how dominant they could be at times, and not give TCU enough respect. Like I said it before,
I have the feeling that Kirby removes some of that.
He does,
right?
I'm talking about everybody that's thinking about the game.
Yeah.
Turn on the game like, man, it's only a 10-3 game. I expect it to be 33. It very well could be like when Alabama played Texas, and then Colt McCoy, poor little buddy, was ejected out of the game. But I envision TCU coming out inspired. I would be very disappointed if TCU has the attitude, we're just happy that we just got this far. I think they're coming with the attitude that we're here to shock the world. We've done it just 10 days ago. We're going to do it again, because TCU, even though they beat Michigan, they weren't satisfied with their performance. If you listen to them, they were happy, but they weren't elated.
Well, they expected to win.
Right, but they're happy they won, but they weren't elated like, man, we just reached our goal. That's our national champion, and we played well. They played good enough to win. They're like Georgia. Mm-hmm. Georgia feels like they won the game, but they didn't play their best game. TCU, that's not the best TCU. The amount of explosive plays that they gave up, TCU, in that short amount of time, when they could have put the nail in the coffin, isn't anything they've done all year.
Well, TCU was talking about, Georgia was on the ropes. Ohio State, if the kicker makes a kick, we're playing the team that lost to the team that we beat already.
Yeah.
Like, look, we're not afraid of Michigan or Ohio State. So for us to be afraid of Georgia wouldn't make sense.
No.
And here's where I said, when I mentioned the crowd, it being a home game. It's a home game for Georgia because Georgia fans expected to be in this game. They bought tickets back in September.
Right.
They bought tickets early.
It was already like national championship or bust.
Matter of fact, some of them skipped.
They skipped the first game, right? Yeah,
they skipped the first game. Now
they would have been salty if they didn't make it, though.
But here's the other part of it, though. This is the way it plays. So I would imagine that 40% of the crowd is going to be Georgia fans who kind of expected this is where normally it's 33% one team, 33% the other team, and then the other third are the NCAA corporate folks who write the check early and get into the game, and then they decide based on the matchup and then how the game plays out. That middle third, if TCU starts out early playing well, that middle third swings to TCU.
Everybody loves an underdog,
right?
And TCU, the mentality is, look, you guys are athletes. You're well-trained athletes. You don't ever let anybody disrespect you. I mean, the being ready to play. I mean, even in the simple terms, even if you're like a team that's not notoriously physical, which TCU I think is a more physical Big 12 team than normal. I'm challenging you. Can we play to a physical nature for one game, for all of it? Winning this game will change your life. It'll teach you things.
Changes the league.
Well, no, I'm talking individually to get you to do something. Forget the league. This is about TCU. This is about the Horned Frogs. This is about the linebacker group. Can we get up and play our best game, by any means necessary for this game?
Can I beat? This is me to Austin. I don't need for you to be better than Jay Foreman for an entire game. That's me asking too much. But what I need for Austin to do on one play is to get in the way. Get me a win, one play. One play. In whatever way you have to, get me one play. Again, he's going to throw you out the club, but I need him occupied with him throwing you out the club rather than him making the play getting to me.
I'm telling you, them dudes, I follow their head strength coach. He in all the things that he's been talking to him, it was never about weights. It never. I know they talk about the speed and all that stuff. It was never. It was all mentality and what you're willing to sacrifice. I mean, he talked to him about NIL. He talked to him, okay, you're NIL, so you're signing a contract. Well, that contract ain't one way. Playing football ain't one way. So what you do on the football field and off the field is going to affect your NIL. This team that they've done, what they've done, it's all a mentality. So I'm asking you, can you give me what we got? Oh, I would just say, just break it down. Look, man, that team over there is in the way of you destiny.
And that dude's getting paid.
Right.
That dude over Georgia, he got NIL money this year.
Right. Well, I would just ask. I would ask, my man Johnny Hodges or Jamoy Hodge, which one of you is going to take the quarterback out? Period. So when I look out there and 13's laid out, smooth out, I want to see which one of you guys is going to take them out, and they're going to why coach because we playing for a national championship. It's you or him.
Markel says this. He goes, generally speaking, are there actually coaches out there who don't emphasize toughness and being physical? Yes.
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 There's actually a lot more than you think.
I've been on those stats with people where I had to went, whoa, wait a minute.
Well, see, the thing is, to answer the question, everybody talks it. There's only a few that live it
and actually hold it as a standard.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that talk it. There's only few that live it. And does your team live it?
And and look, you can see the difference for teams that go to the gym with a football purpose. They look different. They fill the uniforms different. We jokingly talk about, well, looks like a top 15 team. That looks like it. And then you find out they can't bust a grape because under pressure, they start thinking rather than
when you turned on the Michigan game and you saw the amount of penetration that they've had, and Michigan's offensive line won the offensive line award again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when you saw the amount of penetration and the physical nature that those dudes were coming to the party, at least up until then, that was letting you know that's how they live in it. And now Georgia's a big, tall order, man. I mean, McIntosh is a good back. I think Bowers is by head and shoulders the best tight end in the nation. It's not even close. He could pretty much sit out his next year. I think he's only a true sophomore. He could sit out his junior year and still be like top.
He
10.
could go now.
Yeah,
he could go now.
He might petition.
But he looks like he's 35 anyway.
He should petition like Maurice Clarett to get in there. But I think that these guys is I think these guys, TCU has just got to, they got to keep it steady. But I don't show up to say I want to keep it close. Play this game and understand it's a long game. These national championships and these, college football playoff games are longer. There's more sponsorships. There's more commercials. There's more TV breaks, more distractions. So understand, relish the moment, but get out there and get busy and understand, look, that first hit, I mean, the warm-up is key. Right? You guys should be trying to annihilate each other in the warm-up.
And that timetable is off too.
Right. But that's something that you have to practice and understand, and getting ready for it. And, the best team is going to win. I mean, they got TCU has a tall order up there, and so does Georgia. I mean, Georgia, I think, is probably, going to win. But if TCU, I would not be surprised tomorrow. We're like, man, TCU pulled the upset. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I don't think it's like if you're one. Look, first
of all, upset based on the spread.
Well, but I mean, you're a 3-point. You're the number 3 team in the country who just knocked off number two at a neutral site. There's no upsets in the championship game where you, quite frankly, you get in it. The point spread. The point spread is what the distance should be.
Right.
But once you've played yourself through a whole season's work into this opportunity, then
I'll do a shameless plug for 1995. If TCU was playing a team that didn't have any legal procedure penalties and beat every ranked team by 25 points plus, then you need to be scared.
Yeah.
Okay. That ain't it with Georgia.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That ain't it with Georgia.
That's it. All right, Jay. I know you need to get out of here with Georgia break. We'll come back more old school here on the ticket.
Every child has the ability to be successful and thrive in life, but sometimes they need your help. Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Lincoln exists to help children unlock their potential by making meaningful matches between adult volunteers and young people. Right now, there are children just waiting for a mentor to step up and make an impact in their lives. Learn more online at bbbslincoln.org. There are kids right here in Lincoln waiting to get started. Volunteer today and start something big.
This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Harrison Arns. In boys high school basketball on Tuesday, January 3rd, Parkview Christian won over Lincoln Christian 66-52. In switching to girls, Lincoln Christian beat Parkview Christian 38-23. Lincoln High dominated Omaha Burke 76-31. In the boys basketball ratings from the Lincoln Journal-Star, Bellevue West sits at number 1 in Class A with a 10-0 record. The next closest city school is Lincoln High at number 4 with an 8-1 record. Lincoln East sits at number 7 with a 5-2 record, and Lincoln Southeast sits at 8 with a 5-4 record. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Lincoln, Beatrice, and Milford.
John Henry's Plumbing, heating and air. When it comes to your home or business, we know you have options, and that's why John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning gives you just that. Options. We have plumbing, heating, and cooling memberships to serve all of your residential and commercial needs. We want to ensure you, your family, and your business are safe. Visit our website, jhlincoln.com, to find out more or call us at 435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Shopping for insurance can be a tedious and frustrating task, but the agents at Brokers Insurance Agency will do the work for you. They have partnered with over 20 of the best insurance carriers in the nation, which allows them to do the shopping all for you. Whether you're looking for business insurance or employee benefits for your company, or you're looking to save money on your home and auto insurance, Brokers Insurance Agency has the agents and solutions to help meet your goals. Call 402-420-5353 or email staff@brokersinsurancenE.com.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to old school. Jay Foreman's out the building. He's got some coaching and daddy duties that he's got to take care of, and I appreciate him covering for me last week. Some of you know I had procedure number 2 on Thursday, and I had to pump the brakes and chill and recover for a bit. There are always interesting stories about about getting procedures done. I'm good. I'm here, as you can tell. I'm here and recovering, and the healing has gone the way it was supposed to go for me to be back today. I wasn't sure I was going to be back today. As a matter of fact, I think my staff kind of prefers it when I don't come in. Because Rico was like, yeah, you should just stay home. I was like, okay, well, be careful. One of these times we'll take you up on it. But we had the staff holiday party Saturday, and it was a great turnout. And then, of course, later Saturday was an event for Nathan Brennan as he takes off and heads to Kansas City. But we had the event at Double Eagle, and I want to shout out and say thank you to Taylor and Lincoln's Pub for what they did for us. They delivered all the food. They delivered pizzas and dip and bread pudding, which is spectacular. And for somebody that is fighting glucose, I'm not supposed to be in that space, but I took a bite because I really need to. Just the smell demanded I take a bite of it. If by chance we've got some of the dip in the refrigerator that we brought here right afterwards, so we'd have it and folks could have access to it. But great turnout, and then great turnout for Nathan's going away event at McKinney's after that. So good stuff. It was good to see everybody, good to be around everybody, good stuff all the way. And then Pecan Pie, yeah, it's great. Says it's great to have you back. Thank you. It's great. It's great to be here. Pecan Pie, we were talking about Lincoln youth and Lincoln sports, high school sports, and its place in the state. And I'm always fascinated by the discussion about Lincoln versus the Metro, and then the outliers, right? Because the outliers, there are no two similarities between any two outlier counties, towns, cities in Nebraska. They're all different. They have their own identity, their own populations, their own style of how business is done, how training is done, et cetera. And so walking into the basketball facility and seeing this just abundance of Lincoln athletes and families, when you start to look, right, these are people that I may or may not know. I ran into some folks that came up to say hi and patted me on the back and wanted to introduce me to their kids, and that's always great. And then you look at, in that space, one, it's just a ton of teams. So of all the courts, they're all filled, and they all had games, 2 teams ready to play behind the games that were being played. I'm amazed at how much money and resources put into it. I would imagine that paying for that facility over the course of the day is pretty expensive, but that these organizations have no problem with doing that. And then watching it, even at 9 o'clock at night, it's still full and folks are still in and out. But Pecan Pie says this, is that there is enough money in Lincoln youth sports and a major lack of facilities. Where in Omaha, folks are willing to spend, and therefore the youth opportunities are better. Most high-level kids are heading to play for Omaha teams, which, okay, I'm going to need folks to help me wrap my brain around why that is so, because being in a college town, there are resources. There are people with levels of success who were born in this town, raised in this town, do business in this town. And if you tell me that all the athletes are born and raised and bred in Omaha, okay, there's a greater number of them. Number matters, quantity matters, but quality in that space, right? Quality in that space can be developed based on the intent of the grown-ups in that space. And that if folks in Lincoln decided that, okay, we are lacking, our kids are lacking in opportunities when it comes to basketball or football, then you get active in setting up those opportunities and creating, one, the resource, two, creating and inviting those resources into your space. Building facilities, because there's room, but there needs to be somebody who's in charge of that, who's willing to push the buttons and move that. And so it should be done. So for Lincoln parents, I'll ask you, what's required for Lincoln to catch up to Omaha in facility? Are there people who in the community lead in those sorts of things, right? Real estate is required. There's plenty of real estate, right? There's plenty of real estate. Resources, money, and the ability to accumulate money, raise money, send money into a specific space until you have what you need from it. Who are the people that need to be tapped on the shoulder, palm pressed to get that to happen? Because you're talking about your kids and the future of this space, right? The kids are the future of this thing. We know that to be true. So to tell me that you care about your young people means that as the leaders of that community, you push into that space what's required. And anything that needs to be done in this space can be done because there's enough resource. There's enough resource that the university can whistle and millions fall from the sky, right? And if you said that in the same space that one of the major objectives and focuses of what the university should do in this space is to create opportunities for the next Huskers in that space, right? Like this is the thing, and I can tell you in places that I've been, what the university did was to put in play, and let's say football, let's talk football specifically. They put in the space a natural connection to the university program through resources, identity, branding, etc. And then they put in that space people who are willing to fund it so that the next generation was already in place and on the path to represent the university when that time came. Right? So in Utah, it's Little League football. And all of them wear either the uniforms are provided. So home and away, right? So everybody's wearing Utah uniforms of some sort, right? But they're playing each other and then running plays and running systems that are equal to or similar to what the top program in the state runs. Why? Because then you can see if somebody excels at the level that they're in, at the thing that you're going to need when they get to college and start to get recruited. right? So if you are running a spread offense at the University of Nebraska, then you need to create in that space a space where the next generation also runs some of what you have so that you can use those players in your system.
Not just throw it all out the window.
Right? Like not to just go, okay, for 9 years, you've been running the wishbone. And now we need receivers who run the spread and they're not prepared.
Funny how that works.
And so the same in basketball, right? The same in baseball, that if you're in this space and you want year-round facilities, then where are the indoor baseball facilities where you could play actual games during that time where Florida, Texas, California are playing games? Because that's who you want to play against. Like remove the nonsense that the Big Ten is limited because of its weather, but there's a way. Like I was in Texas and they had indoor practice facility that was bigger than the facility, the stadium they played in. Why? Because they wanted people to actually play games. Drills are nice, but in a real world, you want to actually play games as well. And that's the payoff. That's how you get kids to work harder, is to give them a payoff and be able to play games. So in that space for basketball, why would you not have the University of Nebraska basketball program in charge of the select or elite basketball programs in this space, which would help you have eyes on and hands on the talent that you want to come and be a feeder for your program?
It's crazy because you would think that would be the goal, but I think in some cases there are people who are so diehard into Nebraska that they think a little too small, and I'm giving my money to this university for this purpose, not thinking about how it grows the program or how it can be used, by the program, but outside of the program at the same time. It's Nebraska football's been my thing. I give my money to the football program. It's up to them. I don't think there's been a lot of forward thinking necessarily. I can't speak to who the leaders are. I can't speak to how to go after them.
But you're in this. You're in the system. You're a coach, so you have some idea of how money moves in this space, right? And so for you, it would make more sense for you to, let's say it's basketball, for sake of discussion, it's basketball. 2 major programs in the state, University of Nebraska, Creighton, and running from an understanding of what they do and what they require. Now, I have to say that Creighton has the same problem because, listen, if you've got all that talent in the Metro, you better get everybody in the Metro.
If they get 1 or 2 a year.
Right? Right, in that space. But if I'm connected to those young people and they see and hear Creighton basketball fed into them even in their younger phases, it becomes natural to consider imagining yourself in the biggest program in the state. That should be a part of the messaging, in that you want those young people to have dreams and aspirations of being at the best program in this space.
And I think that's what a lot of people talk about wanting. But when you think about that, DP, I think it's more about the walk-on program. It's the kids that are, born in this state that want to bleed for the end when it comes to football. I don't think that's the case necessarily anymore. Partly because of how the program's fallen, but where's the outreach to these places?
Why would
Where
you?
Are the systems?
Here's a thing that ever since I got here, a thing that I don't understand about the football program. Why are you asking all the local kids to pay money when when you have resources?
Make it worth their while.
Look, the whole point of NIL is giving people their actual value rather than some implied value. And you're telling the best players in the state that, well, quite frankly, you don't have the same value as the people that we're going to go and get and bring them to Nebraska, and they have more value than you do. That's a weird message to give. And then here's the other thing. Where's the coaching feeder system for Lincoln High School and the university? Right? Because I don't know, I'm going to say this, and some people will get their toes in a bunch over it, but go ahead. That the new leadership came in And if you couldn't find great coaching leadership here in Lincoln to make a part of your program, then you're saying that, well, quite frankly, it's not good enough.
Where did Matt Rule go hire a high school coach from?
Like he went to Texas.
He went to Texas.
And I can tell you, if you said that to me in that space, I would ask the question, well, wait, whoa. Are you telling me, because if you've got good enough coaches, you're saying that you've got good enough players from those coaches. And then you're saying, no, nobody here is good enough to be a part of what I'm going to do, which is again, in Utah, I'm just telling you in space. Like we talked to Everett Gray. I can tell you that there are 6 programs in the state of Utah that come to Everett Gray for players and have asked him to be a part of their programs. I was an unofficial scout. So that was the whole point, right? Was that I'm coaching kids and I would see kids and I can get around them and have different conversations than the high school coaches could. But the high school coaches would have conversations with me that they needed to have with the top programs. The same thing happened in DC. The same thing happened in Charlotte. The same thing happened in Houston. Like the system is set up for the elite program in that space to set the standard for how all business below it is done because it affects them. Mm-hmm. And if you don't set up a ladder where they're all connected and it's a consistent and constant voice that, we know all the Husker players and they will come to our games. They'll come to our practices. Coaches will come and work with the coaches. Like they'll do all those things. And I just don't see it. And I don't understand it.
You would think it would be easier to do in a place like Nebraska where there is that one major program for football. Mm-hmm. You should want those coaches. You should want those players where in the end. Basketball, you can throw out the 2 in Nebraska and Creighton. In Texas, sure, you could argue that it's tougher with so many schools and they all want to have their own imprints. But in their own communities, it should be just as simple. Well, how do you build that pipeline?
Well, here's the thing. Calvin Sampson, I was at a 3A private school in the Woodlands, Texas. Now, look, I ran the camps for Matt Bullard and Chris Paul, and there were folks in the space who their kids were in the school system, but they were tied to the schools because their kids were in the school. Mm-hmm. So they would, hey, what do you need, coach? Well, I need you here is what I need. First of all, I need you here, and I need you to be known.
Need a face, not just a name.
Right. Well, but I need you to be known. I need you, not the name, but the person to be known in this space because it makes it easier for me to co-sign Chris Paul or Matt Bullard or whoever the coach is or AJ Hinch and to say, here's what AJ recommends that you do.
AJ Hinch is at the top of Major League Baseball.
Right. And then it's easy to get the baseball player in that space. And AJ Hinch, when he needs a place to work out players, he knows he's coming to a facility that's legitimate. It's legitimate. He's not going to walk it. I'm telling you, when I walked it, I was at 6A in Virginia, and I thought I had seen everything. In D.C., right? I've seen it all until I went to Texas. And then I went, oh, my goodness, I hadn't seen it all. And then you come here, and I'm going, for everything that Nebraska has and that they have control of, like there's a benefit for Nebraska to be small in number because you can control the people in place and the people in the space. Mm-hmm. What I want is for those people to put them in space and to be active in it. Because here's the thing, the kids deserve it. The kids deserve it. Like I just want to say it, and I'll keep repeating it. There is zero reason for Lincoln Public Schools and for Lincoln Little League and for Lincoln Select to not be able to match up. Because if there are fewer kids in Lincoln, there's fewer kids I have to coach. And there's fewer things that when I get it right, I can share it with a greater percentage and portion of the program and the kids that are in that space. That's all there is. I'm just saying I'm rooting for Lincoln to get it right. Because the kids deserve it. And the parents, you guys are active on the text line, and God bless you for it because you guys are giving me information. I want to read a couple of them, then we'll go to break because Nori is here and I want to bring him in. One texter says, Lincoln Youth football is a fine program. You can expect 8, 9, 10-year-olds to run a air raid or spread. No, understand how they work. Forget about what they work on. How they work is what you teach. What is the mindset? The mindset of guys who play high-level football, it's how they work. You don't get to determine how tall you are, how fast you are, how strong you are. You can work on it, but quite frankly, your talent is your talent. That's what it is. It's how you work on whatever you have to work on that is the difference maker. And that's the messaging that is important. And when it comes from the biggest voice in the vacuum, then it controls the vacuum. And I can tell you, if Matt Rule gets in this space and becomes the loudest voice in the vacuum, and he's known in those space, he'll change the way Lincoln youth football is done. He'll change. Fred Hoiberg in the space, loudest voice, can change Lincoln basketball. He can change it. He absolutely can change it. And I'll tell you, I know Harvell and company, they can change baseball in the state of Nebraska. They can absolutely change it by the way that they train and whose voice are they following. And all the products, the coaches in this space are all the accumulation of the voices above them. That's what coaching is. That's how it works. We'll throw it a break. We'll come back. Got the big man. Nori is going to walk in here, and he'll talk with us here on Old School when we come back.
There's nothing quite like the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef. The Mercado offers unique ingredients you can't find anywhere else, open every day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The full-service butcher shop and retail store is wonderful for meat lovers with their exclusive Certified Piedmontese Beef and assorted sausages, plus other quality meats, including pork, chicken, and a wide range of the freshest seafood. Plus, every Friday from 11 to 2, the Mercado serves up the best lunch in town on their Friday Feast menu. Stop in at the Mercado today at 84th and Havelock or visit their website at cpmercado.com to see current deals.
Imagine your next staff meeting. Now imagine your next staff meeting with a side of ribs. Your next client presentation, or that same client presentation with brisket and baked beans. It's better, right? Let Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul take care of all of your business catering needs. Feed the staff, cater your next event, whatever you need, Mary Ellen's can help. They can even host your events in their brand new event space located right next to the restaurant. Go see for yourself. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul at 29th and Pine Lake or online at maryellens.com. Let them fix you a plate.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. Hopcat is your pregame headquarters for basketball and volleyball all season long. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Is your furnace operating like you think it should? Find out with a service check now from the pros at Bryant. No matter what make or model, Bryant will perform a thorough system check to make sure you're good to go this winter. Bryant also offers free second opinion heat exchanger checks. Before you spend thousands on a new furnace, let Bryant check it free. Anytime you need furnace service or repair, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. We do whatever it takes.
Bagels & Joe is celebrating 30 years of business this year. With 4 Lincoln locations and 1 in Seward, there's more options for your favorite breakfast spot in town. And don't forget the Joe card for unlimited drip coffee for just $8.95 per person per month. Bagels & Joe, celebrating 30 years of serving Lincoln and the surrounding areas.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Back to Old School with DP and J.
Well, if you're feeling all right and you think you're on, somebody let me know. Well, everybody in the place, put a whistle in your face, scream it out and say, yo, yeah.
Welcome back. Final segment of Old School. Got a full night for you of Ticket Weeknight. You know, Speed and Power.
Yeah.
Speed and Power is back.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute. Talking Tens will be back. In the pocket. Not the ladies are in Vegas in their first in a tournament for the year. So Harrison will have to cover an extra hour, but I think he'll have plenty to talk about as the Dogs and Horned Frogs get after it in Inglewood, California. Nuri, come on in here. Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year to you guys as well.
You know, it's love. It's always good to see you.
It's good to see you too, man.
Yeah.
I miss you too. I miss you, man.
You
I
know,
miss you a lot.
well, this is why, like, I text you. I'm like, okay, come see me. Like, you got to come see me.
Every time I get a text from DP, it's just a blessing. It's usually a blessing.
I have so much respect for all the stuff that you go through, and I'm rooting so hard for you. Look, most of the players on the team I know and I care about, and you want so much more for them than they were currently getting.
Yeah.
And you have been a statesman for it. You have been a stand-up guy. You have put yourself out there. You've shown people, you know what? Look, I'm flawed, but I got a good heart, and I'm going to get better, and I'm going to try to make you proud of me, which is everything.
Exactly.
Which is everything. And I think in this space, we had somebody drop off some goodies, and they said, okay. I said, can we get this to Nori? I'm like, no. No, we cannot. No, we cannot. I said, in the space, I said, Taylor's the one guy because he's going to sponsor the show. So there's some stuff that he can do for the station. And then as he's doing it for the station, Nori reaps some benefit.
Exactly.
To do that.
I get to have a slice of the pizza.
Right. Like, you just like to understand what it is, right? So in this space, you've been busy. You are changing. You are evolving right in front of my eyes. And I love the fact that you're being so open about it. So what changes have you made, personal changes for you in how you work, prepare? Like, what are you doing? Like, first of all, you cut your hair, right? You went and cut the hair, which was a statement.
Yeah, I did. I got contacts.
Yeah, right?
So I can see the sideline now.
Yeah.
That was a big reason.
That's big. That's big.
I mean, hey, the main reason I got contacts was just like, okay, like new coach coming in. We don't know yet if it's going to be sideline signals. We don't know if it's going to be like huddle. Or obviously now we do.
Yeah.
But at the time I didn't know, so I was like, okay, I gotta get this done.
But you didn't play with goggles. Like, you didn't play with glasses.
No. I obviously last year didn't play, but like the year before I was fine. I didn't have any issues with my eyes. I had 20/20 perfect vision.
Smacks on the head. Smacks on the head.
The couple hidden C words that were happening throughout the year that you don't really talk about. That's what happens. And like
but you deserve the freedom to say, here's some of the stuff we go through.
No, and yeah, like it's not like for everyone that like maybe misunderstood that. It's not that like, people don't bring it out that somebody has something. It's more like that we don't really want to talk about it.
Right, because it affects playing time. Exactly. Then you got to go through the protocol.
And a lot of times it's like you just think like, oh, you're like sick.
Well, you're a lineman.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like we hit heads every day.
It's a part of the deal.
Exactly.
What are your okay? So to protect yourselves, right? Football they have now the crowns.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the crowns? It'll save you concussions.
It'll save you concussions, but it doesn't matter when somebody comes from the side.
So can we expand the crown?
We should 100%. Like the reason linemen get concussions is because they get picked from a D lineman that comes from the side. Because usually what it usually is a 2-eye. You have a 2-eye and a 5, let's say.
Yeah.
For the people that don't know what that is, there's a guy between the center and the guard, and then there's a guy outside of the tackle. The guy between the center and guard will pull the guard to the center to make as much space between the guard and the tackle, and that guy that's by the tackle will just head eyes right into the side of your helmet, and that's when you usually get a concussion.
Can we? So here's $1 million idea given away for free to take the crown that currently goes above the ear hole and just make it so it tucks under the chin pads.
See, the thing with that would be the issue of keeping the helmet stabilized enough for this part to be safe enough too.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know where I read this, but like as soon as you start doing more and more,
Mhm.
you lose stability in the main part too.
Okay.
Because I mean, like this part is just to stabilize this.
Right. So anything under the chin is designed specifically to protect the crown from like eyebrow to base.
Basically.
Okay.
Like the rest is just there for it to be stable enough for that hit to be absorbed. Like for example, I have a specific helmet. I don't have a,
because you have a huge head.
Yeah, no, I have a massive head. I have the prototype. It's a diamond speed flex.
Yeah.
It's not a normal speed flex. The prototype is they usually take a 3D of your head, and then instead of having like the air bubbles where you like fill up with air, I have like these like delta like formations. So like mine is like just a hexagon.
So it's like the pillow that forms to your brain and then expands back to a regular space.
So it has no air in it, no nothing, and I'm like in the prototype. So like I was
Do you
one of the
like
first
that?
Oh, I love it.
You love
Oh
it.
my gosh, it fits so well. It's amazing.
But you don't get
I can't wear a headband under it because it's so tight.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's perfectly snug fit, and like I'm super happy about it. I love that helmet. It has definitely helped me. Like every now and then I'll have a ringing a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But if I would have had like a normal helmet, like I would have had concussions.
It happens. As a matter of fact, because we were a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about Tua and his concussion.
Oh,
and
that
going
was
through,
ridiculous.
Right, to go through it. And I said at halftime of the game where I saw him land, and he went flat back, and the back of his head bounced.
Yeah.
And I said, he just concussed, and he's going to play like crap. Watch this.
Well, I mean, like I don't know
Watch it,
why
and
they didn't take him out. Like,
well, because the stakes are high.
I understand that, but you don't want to use somebody who's at risk of
Well,
literally
that's-
failing their body.
Right. This is where the medical team is important.
Yeah.
And they have to earn their money, quite frankly, by saying no.
Exactly. And like I mean those 3 games, like the Sunday game,
Yeah.
or was it a Monday game, and then the Thursday game,
Yeah.
where the first 2 happened,
Yeah.
and then this all within like what 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
So maybe you can explain a thing that most listeners don't know what happens when you go into the tent.
Oh,
because most fans never get to hear what goes in the tent.
Obviously, you go in the tent for a multitude of injuries or for possible C words,
Mhm.
but in all of them, the head trainer is in there with you, and he explains to you what's going to happen next. Usually, like sometimes it's like you go in there just get tape. Like, hey, like I need new tape on my ankle, whatever.
Yeah.
Or I need more tape because I just rolled. I rolled. the
Can you
absolute
adjust
hell
my
out of
helmet?
tape.
Can you do
Like
there's a ton of
something that like you don't really want other people to see.
Right.
But sometimes obviously you have an injury and you need to go in there, and then some very they're legal but questionable things happen in there. Like there's I'm not gonna
Coach Rule's calling now.
Exactly.
Right?
No, it happens at every program, like
well, so and then here's another thing, and this is something we can take over into the next hour. But before the season starts, each player goes through the baseline testing, which sets
hey, by the way, the baseline test, I want to say the F word because the baseline test F word sucks.
Yeah. Right, like I did.
It is not because of
it's
like,
tough.
It's tough.
It's
like
tough.
It's so hard to do when you're completely fine.
Well, we went through it as coaches so that we understood the process. So to get certified, and the beauty of my coaching in several states is that each state certification is different, and I get smarter each time.
Dude, the difference from CSU to here was so different.
Amazing.
Like Colorado, Nebraska, so different.
Amazing,
so different.
right? Just
crazy.
to go through. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to throw. This will be the end of old school. Speed and Power will take over at 6 o'clock, but we will continue the conversation because I think the baseline testing explains so much about what linemen go through. It'll be great for you fans and listeners. You'll find out what really goes on and how the standards are set for athletics, college athletics, and particular football. But we'll have the Speed and Power up next here at Ticket Weeknights.
Hey guys, this is Lindsay Teal from Nebraska Golf Team. Imagine golfing the best courses in the world. St. Andrews, Pebble Beach, and Hills, the best of the best. You can play those courses and more without ever leaving the city of Lincoln at Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle has the city's best golf simulators, 5 high